This is a Collider.com audio interview.
You look great. Can you tell us what you're wearing?
No, I don't know. I would. I'm not being secretive about it, but I actually really don't know.
Oh, okay.
I just saw it and went, I don't know, wear that.
Is it your own? Was it stylist or anything like that?
Oh no, I saw it on a rack and I said, I'll wear that. So.
Is that weird for you?
I know I'm not.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just apologizing for being inept.
Is that weird for you? People asking all the time what you're wearing and asking about fashion and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's so weird for me because it's not something that I think about a whole lot, and it's such a large aspect of that area of like media. It's weird.
Jesse, what are you wearing? Also, Jesse? What are you wearing? Is that like a yellow shirt?
Somebody left it in the hotel room.
So, Jesse, talk about playing the director, as it were. I mean, this is his life. This is sort of his story. Does that put extra responsibility on you to play him right, as it were?
I mean, it was fictionalized a little bit, but no, if anything, it was really nice and wonderful to have him there to discuss all of the situations, and it just meant that the script had a more personal quality to it. You could just tell by reading it once that it came from something more real than most scripts that you read. It felt more authentic. All the characters did.
Does Greg have like mannerisms that you were sort of trying to pick up on at a certain point?
Yeah, Greg is like he's extremely earnest. He's like extremely careful about what he says. I mean, it's all in the script. It's all self-explanatory. If you just read the script, you'd probably know something about him even before you met him. No, that all comes from him. This over-explaining, this over-sincere.
Do you feel
quality.
any pressure a bit because your character is kind of based on him on like being like you kind of
A little bit. I feel more pressure for myself because I also feel similar to the character, and the pressure is I feel with that you have like a great more hyper awareness of what you're doing. If the character feels very personal to you, I feel just personally you have a greater sense of like if something doesn't feel exactly right or accurate or honest, you're much more aware of that. Whereas if the character is something that you don't have any basis for, nothing feels terribly wrong.
But you've done this before. This is Quinn the Well too.
Right. Yeah, and that guy. Yeah, but I'm like that character's kind of this like arrogant, like kind of petulant kid. And so it
was based on the
right. Yeah. It was based on the director, and he. It came more easily to me because it felt like I don't feel like that. I don't. He's kind of an arrogant, kind of obnoxious kid, and so it felt like more. I wasn't as aware of what felt right or wrong.
I wanted to know, did Greg tell you that your character was based on anyone that he knew, or was it? How did he present it to you?
I think she was based on like a compiled girlfriends of his in the past, like a melding of a couple different people, failed relationships with girls that were kind of damaged, but not a specific person. So it wasn't like one relationship that he had. This was the movie. It was like, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know anyone kind of like that when you were growing up, and did you have any experiences of going to like theme parks?
I never met a terribly introverted, damaged girl at a theme park in the 80s.
But did you kind of base the character on anyone you kind of knew or anything like that, or relate to her easily?
I mean, I related to her because I like characters that are written, he was talking about it a second ago, like that are whole, that don't feel like, it's easy to tell what would be right and wrong and like how they would feel about something because they're very defined. It's not like they're just a placeholder. I'm not like the girl in the movie. She's a real person. So her, I mean, I got all my inspiration from her. It was like, I could imagine what it would be like to not like yourself very much and not have a mom and not have a dad to reassure you and just sort of be kicking it alone and feel like you're sort of smarter than everybody but no one gets it. It's like I get all of that. And then like the masochistic aspects girls are good at, so I can relate on that level.
Did you relate it with the girl who they kind of sleep with a much older guy? When I was in high school, I had a friend who slept with much older and kind of, oh my god, it's kind of weird. What's your comment?
Yeah, I don't think she's too excited about it. I think it's masochistic, like I said. I think it's an outlet for her, and it's just something that she can go do, and it's like mindless, and it's like she has a void, and it's not necessarily being filled by that, but it's a distraction, and she's not proud of it. Like, that sounds like she probably went to school and was like, I'm dating this older guy and it's so cool. She's ashamed of it. I mean, she doesn't tell people about it. It's obviously not something that she's too excited about. But she keeps doing it, so.
You did that in What Just Happened as well.
Yeah.
Playing somebody, but that was more of a rebellious thing, that character against her own father.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was more about, like, her dad getting to know that she was actually a real person and not just like a little girl, you know, that your little girl is going to grow up into a woman that does things for her own, you know, like who makes her own personal choices that wouldn't necessarily coincide with his. It was like, you know, she's a grown up now, and that's hard for a dad to deal with. Yeah, but I don't think it was defined. I think she may have actually really liked that guy, you know, like it seemed like that funeral thing was actually genuine. She wasn't just there to piss her dad off. It was like...
The movie takes place in a decade in which you may or may not have even been born yet. Is there anything movie-wise, music-wise, or pop culture from the 80s that you guys really gravitate towards? Is there something that you love from that era?
Yeah, I mean, I loved Lou Reed for a while. You know, before the movie, I was so happy to see that he would be included in the movie. Like, I mean, he was even in the script, obviously, because it's part of the plot. But yeah, not much else from the movie. Like, I didn't really know so much of the music, but Greg had made us like some mixed CDs of the songs from the movie, and I loved all the ones that the characters are supposed to love.
Anything from you, Kristen, that comes from the 80s that you love?
Same here. You know, I really like Lou Reed. I mean, I like a lot of music from. I like the sort of alternative music, and I'm not too into like Rock Me Amadeus, but yeah.
Did it feel like you guys were making a period movie though? Did it feel like it was sort of older and less familiar, or did it feel like it could have been yesterday?
It had a quality, but I think even if it was made now, it would still have this kind of nostalgic quality. Maybe because it was being made by somebody who, you know, kind of lived through it. Even if he said it now, which I think. I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but I was thinking of something. I'm sure, like, maybe... Well, no, that's still... I was thinking of saying something, but then I remembered all these microphones are on. What's that? Yeah. It had, like, a nostalgic quality, but again, I think that probably just exists because of the tone of the movie, not necessarily even because of the, you know, period.
Were there any traits, Jesse, with the character that you could particularly empathise with?
Oh, yeah.
You're asking if he's a virgin?
Oh.
I would not.
That was
That's a great question. If you want to answer
Sorry.
No. I just can't think of anything funny in response to it. Yeah, like we were saying before, I love like he's like so learned. Like I always feel like I said something stupid and I have to explain to somebody what I meant. You know, always like this constant.
thing.
Yeah.